Benny Hinn is one. Joyce Meyer is another that is being investigated.
Yes.
Bishop Eddie Long is
Yes.
among them. Creflo Dollar, Ken Copeland, and there's Paula White.
Yes.
That's the 6 that are being looked at, all of which are ministries.
Yes.
And so they're focusing now on ministries. And what specifically, Doug, are they looking for with these ministries in terms of accountability?
Well, I think from what I understand in reading and listening to what Charles Grassley has to say, and in reading the letters, he's posted the letters so that anyone can read what he has indeed sent to these ministries. He's looking for, are those ministries spending dollars the way that the donor intended them to be spent? And I think it always comes back to donor intent. Mm-hmm. In this case,
when you say donor intent,
yes.
What do you mean by donor intent? Because it's almost as if we're talking about two things here. Because on the one hand, Senator Grassley, you said, was wanting to protect the government and make sure they got all the dollars that they should be getting out of this.
Yes.
But then also there's an interest in donor intent. What does that mean? Because that sounds a little bit vague.
It can be. It's probably shop talk for us fundraisers, in all honesty. Let me say this. Donor intent is generally seen to be, what did the donor mean to give to when they decided that they were going to give a gift to an organization, or in this case a ministry?
Mission.
Yes. They're looking at the organization, they're saying, I believe in what they're doing, I want to give a gift. And Senator Grassley, in his statement, I believe it was in November, when he came out with the letters that were sent to these 6 ministries, indicated that he understood that there was the possibility of abuse. And in there, he named some specific organizations and some specific abuses. He alluded to some high-priced equipment and homes and jets, etc. And what he was doing there was saying, I don't believe that's what people gave to when they gave to your ministry.
Well, even deeper than that, he was asking about their expenses in hotels and some very specific things, not saying that they had misused dollars, but asking questions about how they had conducted those types of activities when they traveled and so forth. Again, though, I go back to, isn't that the IRS's business? Is that a Senate committee's business over the IRS?
I think that.
And are we confusing? Are we kind of confusing the issue here with this inquiry?
I have the same question you do. I remember hearing Frank Wright, current president of National Religious Broadcasters, raising that same issue. Should this not become an IRS issue at this point? Should not Senator Grassley turn it over to the IRS and let them pursue the tax-exempt issues? It could very well be the case. I do know, though, that it currently has not been turned over and that is currently still in Senator Grassley's court, and he is the one that is issuing statements even as of today, as we heard.
Well, the reason I asked the question, I think all of us, in fact, Charisma Magazine, Lee Grady just came out with an article in Charisma Magazine that basically was saying we really do need clean house, especially within perhaps the charismatic movement, but it's bigger than that. It goes beyond that. And I'm part of the Pentecostal charismatic group, and I would agree with that.
Yes.
At the same time, I think all of us are concerned about what type of government intrusion, and we do need to be held accountable. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
All of us need to be held accountable. But where that comes from, and the question is, when does it get too intrusive, and when then does it begin to violate the rights of the organizations? Is that a legitimate?
It is a legitimate question in my view, and it's a question I ask also. I think the things that we encourage, as you alluded to in the beginning of the program, was that we work with many different kinds of ministries, and we have a relationship with them, and how does that relationship help to inform them and encourage them in their ethical practices? And one of the things that we encourage in this process, as we think about who indeed is the monitoring party or lawmaking party to enforce compliance, we encourage people to be accountable. accountability to outside organizations like the ECFA, Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability. Also to organizations, if not to the ECFA, possibly to post information